Good morning. This is Sri Primo with a recap of let me call it the preview of the women's quarterfinal. So when we started this series, or when we started this French Open, my predictions for the quarterfinal were Sabalenka Quinwen, which the match is actually currently going on with Sabalenka somehow winning the first set in a tiebreaker. Quinwen was actually up 2-0 in the tiebreaker. Great game going on right now. Sabalenka, they're in the second set with Sabalenka up 3-2. And then the other two were Paolini and Iga Swiatek. And then I had Andreeva and Pegula and Navarro and Coco. Those were my picks. So when I looked at where we are right now and my predictions, I have Coco, Andreeva, Iga, Quinwen, Sabalenka. So 5 out of 8. Not bad. So we are here with Sabalenka Quinlan going on. I had Sabalenka moving on because that's the person I had winning it all. So I'm going to stick with it. And we have Sabalenka. She's been playing really well. I mean, she's dominated the sport so far. She's dominated the French Open. She's been excellent in terms of um, and the way her play has been. So I'm very impressed with how she's been playing over the past week and a half. Um, and then when I looked at how Quinlan has been playing, and she's been playing, pretty well as well. She's been solid throughout. Um, she had some uh, earlier some hiccups, but I have a feeling that she's playing as good as can be. And in fact, remember, Quinn did defeat Sabalenka recently in the Madrid Open. So she definitely had the confidence going in, but so far, the way it seems that Sabalenka's definitely got the advantage going in. I mean, she's serving well, she's moving quite well, and she really moves her players on both sides of the court, and that puts her in a much better spot than the rest of the players. So, and then she's world number one. So, nothing to be, I mean, to beat her, you got to have your best game possible. Um, so, from the standpoint of um, that match, that's where we are. As far as the other one, I was very, very shocked. And Svetlina, what a win that she had. She beat Paulini, and when Paulini, I think I covered it during my recap yesterday. Paulini had everything going for her. She won the first set. She was up 4-1 in the second set. She had 3 match points, as a matter of fact, for this match. But credit where credit is due, Svetlina managed to win those matches. I mean, when you look at it, um, Svetlina had some tough matches. There are a lot of tiebreakers, and that came in great in the second set against Paolini, where she won 8-6. So that's another one. 1 point here and there would have been Paolini. So and Paolini has been playing probably the best, um, and so far. So now we get to the Iga and Swiat, Iga and Svetlina this match. Um, when I look at it, I think I talked about it. Iga has been as dominant. I mean, the only three-setter match that she played was that she beat Rybakina in the fourth round, where I, I was a little surprised there. She lost the first set 6-1. She looked out of sorts, had a chance to watch some of it, and then she also bounced back very nicely in the second set, but the third set was a much closer one. Um, uh, so what we need to see is here is that, and Iga has actually beaten two champions. She's beaten Raducanu and Rybakina on her way here, and she's been playing. A lot of questions coming for her because when you look at what she did, she lost to Daniela Collins in the Italian Open. In the Madrid Open, um, what happened was like she completely was demolished in the semifinals by Coco Gauff. And then in the Stuttgart Open, she lost to Ostapenko, which she has a losing record. And when I looked at all those three tournaments, and then we come to French Open, she's been as dominant as ever. Um, Svitolina is someone who never quits. She's one of my favorite players, and she did play the Italian Open as well. And in the Italian Open, Svitolina lost to Stearns from United States, and in the Madrid Open, she fell to Sabalenka. So she's had a pretty good um, record so far on clay. So when I think about Svitolina and Iga, I'm going to give the nod to Iga. In fact, in my previous podcast, I actually had Paolini beating Iga, but here I'm going to go with Iga moving on to face Sabalenka in the semifinal. Think about that. Um, and then this is a great story when we look at what's going on. You had Mira Andreeva, who's now gone on to the quarterfinals. Andreeva has been playing out of her mind, and uh, I mean, she's definitely one of the top players, upcoming players. She had a great win over Casatina, so she definitely knows how to play, good tennis. She was, even in the Italian Open that she played, Andreeva was. I mean, she lost only to Coco Gauff. So again, and then in the Madrid Open, who did she lose to? Coco Gauff. And in the Stuttgart Open, she lost to Alexandrova. But having said that, the way and then everybody knows what she did uh, in the Indian Wells Masters. She beat Sabalenka. So, but the player that she's going to be playing, this is going to be very interesting. She's going to be playing Louis Boisson, and this is a great story, guys. I mean, she is um, the maximum ranking she's achieved was 152, and she upset Jessie Pegula. Pegula actually won the first set, and this is someone that uh, that she has, like I said, uh, she's been playing in the third rung of French Open stuff, so she's a wild card. So great story for the French woman. Um, Stunning upset. I mean, I think, you know what? I think it's 361 in the world, and the long odds of beating Pegula would be an understatement. But she had the home support, um, and she became the first French wildcard to reach the quarterfinals since Mary Pierce. And the last time a French woman reached the quarterfinals was Caroline Garcia and Kristina Mladenovic. So now she takes the sixth seed, Andreeva. I'm actually going to pick Andreeva to move on. So that's what I had in the semifinals when I did my predictions, and then that's where we are. So on the other one, you had it's a good story for Boys Son, but I do think that Andreeva was too much. And then this is the All American quarterfinal between the Australian Open champion Madison Keys um, and Coco Gauff. I think Coco, one thing I worry about Coco, I think I had Coco going on beating Navarro. Like I had Navarro beating Keys, but Navarro fell in the first round, but pretty brutally, actually. So I'm looking at um, Coco and Madison Keys. Um, when I think about what Coco has done, obviously she lost to Paolini in the Italian Open. Um, she lost to Sabalenka in the final, in the Madrid Open, and in the Stuttgart Open, she lost to Paolini. So the good news for Coco is that she doesn't have, Paolini in the half. Um, I was a little surprised with, at least with Madison Keys. I mean, she's been able to make a lot of move on the French Open, so I'm very impressed with that. But one thing about Keys is that she's beaten. Um, Sophia Kenin, tough match. Then she beat Baptiste. So interestingly, in the third and fourth round, she played Americans, and then in the fifth round, in the quarterfinal, she's going to play Coco. I was very conflicted with it, but I think I'm going to stay with my prediction, which was Coco. I had Coco going to the semifinal, so I got the Coco and Andreeva matchup, and then I would have Sabalenka and Iga matchup. So that's where we're going to stay. And then between Sabalenka and Iga, I think I'll go with Sabalenka there because that's who I predicted. And between Coco and Andreeva, I'm going to pick Coco because I had Coco beating Andreeva in my prediction. So we'll go with Coco and Sabalenka in the final, and Sabalenka winning it all. So that's the one I'm going to stay with. Pretty much no changes there, but great French Open so far. Very hard, some of the heartbreakers that we saw in some of the matches, like Paolini suffered against Svetlina, but she'll bounce back. She's well number four, and but Svetlina is someone that you never take it for granted. She's one of the best fighters that you're ever going to see in tennis. So with that, we wrap it up, and thanks again for listening.